Namaste, everyone. I'm quite cautious about oversimplifying religious parallels and falling into the trap of radical universalism or syncretism. While there are certainly shared themes across different religions, these should be understood within the unique contexts and frameworks of each tradition rather than assuming that they all lead to the same path or ultimate truth. Here are some important points to consider. The first one is recognizing those unique contexts. Religious traditions are rooted in specific contexts, each and every one of them. Each faith developed in its own historical, cultural, and social context with unique doctrines, practices, and spiritual goals. While certain similarities might exist, such as messianic figures, such as creation myths, and so on, the ways these are understood and the implications they carry within each religion are vastly different. For example, the Zoroastrian understanding of the cosmic struggle between Asha and Daruj, the cosmic struggle between truth and falsehood, is profoundly different from the Christian concept of good versus evil. The moral and spiritual outcomes and the paths prescribed to achieve them are distinct, even if the language may appear to align at times. We also need to avoid syncretism entirely. What do I mean by that? Well, syncretism is the blending of different religious beliefs, often leading to a diluted or distorted understanding of each tradition. It's important to be careful when drawing comparisons between religious elements that may superficially seem similar, but arise from fundamentally different theological foundations. For instance, while some scholars have pointed out parallels between Christianity and Zoroastrianism, especially regarding messianic themes or cosmic dualism, it doesn't mean that one religion borrowed from the other or that they should be treated as identical. Christianity has its own unique teachings rooted in the life and work of Jesus Christ, and Zoroastrianism has its own distinct doctrines centered on Ahura Mazda and Asha. There are also the dangers of radical universalism. Radical universalism assumes that all religions lead to the same path, lead to the same truth or divine reality. This view risks undermining the particular truths and practices unique to each religion and negates the real differences in how each religion approaches the divine, the nature of humanity, salvation, and moral action. For instance, the Christian belief in the incarnation, that God became human in the person of Jesus, is essential to Christianity, but has no real parallel in other religions. Similarly, the Zoroastrian concept of Asha and Daruj is fundamentally different from the Buddhist or Christian views of moral and spiritual dualism. And then there's religious truth and integrity. Not all religions are correct or lead to the same ultimate truths. While it's valuable to study and appreciate the rich diversity of human religious expression, it's important to recognize that each tradition has its own claims about truth, the nature of the divine, and the ultimate purpose of human life. For example, Zoroastrianism's monotheism is centered on Ahura Mazda, Christianity's on the Trinity, and Islam's on Allah. While there may be some overlapping moral teachings, the theological and cosmological differences are significant. Treating them as identical or merely as variations of the same truth can obscure these critical distinctions. And then there's respecting the integrity of each tradition. Every religion has its own internal coherence, meaning that the belief systems, rituals, and ethical teachings are meant to be understood and followed as a whole. Reducing a religion to a set of parallels with others risks distorting its actual teachings and undermining the lived experience of its followers. Instead of seeing religions as all converging towards the same ultimate truth, it's more respectful and intellectually honest to understand each faith on its own terms, respecting the diversity of human religious experience, while recognizing the unique claims each religion makes about the divine and human essence. And then there's the critical engagement point I would like to make. Interfaith dialogue and the study of religious history should involve critical engagement with the traditions, acknowledging both their commonalities and their differences. Recognizing similarities can foster mutual respect, but it's essential to also honor the distinctiveness of each path. For example, one can appreciate the Magi's role in the Christian narrative without suggesting that the Zoroastrian faith is merely a precursor to Christianity, because Zoroastrianism stands on its own as a complete and rich spiritual tradition. In conclusion, while it's fascinating to explore the ways in which religious traditions may share certain themes, we must remain cautious not to fall into the trap of oversimplifying or equating them all as ultimately the same. Each faith must be respected for what it is, with all of its distinct teachings, practices, and spiritual insights. And we should strive for a nuanced understanding that avoids both radical universalism and syncretism. And this is where I end my dissertation. Thank you for watching.